Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something that, well, most people probably don't think about, but it underpins basically everything digital. We're talking about the global wafer inspection equipment market. Sounds technical, but stick with us, it's crucial. Our guide for this is a report from Cognitive Market Research, Global Wafer Inspection Equipment Market 2025, a regional outlook. And it's packed with insights.
It really is. And just so everyone's clear, when we say wafer inspection equipment, think ultra-high-tech scanners. These things look for microscopic flaws on semiconductor wafers, the silicon disks that become computer chips, flaws measured in, like, atoms.
Wow.
Yeah, and why it matters is simple: quality and yield. As chips get insanely complex, these tools are absolutely essential. They basically allow technological progress to keep marching forward. Without them, everything grinds to a halt.
Okay, so super important stuff. Our mission then is to pull out the key takeaways from this report for you. We'll look at the big global growth picture, then zoom into the regions, see what's happening where, maybe uncover some surprises. Basically, give you the essential intel on this vital market. Let's kick things off with those global numbers because they're pretty striking. So back in 2021, sales revenue was around $4.55 billion. By 2025, it's forecast to reach $6.23 billion.
Okay.
And get this, by 2033, they expect it to hit $11.66 billion, more than double the 2021 figure.
That's huge.
Yeah, it works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 8.15% globally. That signals really strong, steady growth.
And what those numbers tell you, it's not just about more chips being made, it's about how incredibly complex they're becoming. We're pushing physics to the limit, right? Smaller transistors, less power.
Right.
The margin for error is vanishingly small, so finding these tiny defects needs massive investment in advanced optics, electron beams, even AI.
So the growth reflects the tech investment needed.
Exactly. It's an investment in making sure billions and billions of components work perfectly. Reliability is paramount.
Okay, let's unpack this region by region then, because the global picture is strong, but it looks a bit different depending on where you look. Let's start our tour in North America.
Sounds good.
Okay, North America. In 2021, the market was worth just over $1.2 billion. Forecast for 2025 is about $1.62 billion, and then looking out to 2033, almost $3 billion.
Solid growth.
Yeah, a healthy AGR there of 7.872%. So, really consistent expansion. But what's the story within North America? Any standouts?
Well, the U.S. is obviously the big player. $838 million in 2021, heading towards over $2 billion by 2033. Canada's growing nicely, too, around 7.9% CAGR. But the interesting one, I think, is Mexico.
Oh, how so?
It started smaller, about $230 million in 2021, but its growth trajectory is faster. The CAGR is projected at 8.305%.
Higher than the U.S. or Canada?
Yeah, noticeably higher. It suggests, a strategic push there. It could be nearshoring, building up supply chains, new investments in electronics manufacturing. It definitely signals Mexico becoming a more significant player in that semiconductor ecosystem.
Huh. That faster growth in Mexico is definitely something to watch. Shows how these investment patterns can shift, even in established regions. Okay, let's hop across the pond. Europe. What's the picture there?
Right, Europe.
In 2021, it was just over $1 billion, $1.045 billion. By 2025, estimated near $1.39 billion. And then by 2033, looking at over $2.5 billion. So a CAGR of 7.725%. Pretty comparable to North America overall.
It is, yeah. Solid foundational market. But again, there are variations within Europe. You get Germany, France, the UK showing strong, steady growth, mostly in that 7.3 to 7.5% CGR range.
Okay.
But then you see Russia with a projected CGR closer to 8%, a bit faster.
Interesting. Why the difference?
It likely points to different national strategies, Varying levels of government focus or investment in boosting high-tech manufacturing. Some might be making bigger pushes. And actually, the report lumps together the rest of Europe, and that collective group shows a CAGR of over 8%, 8.08% to be precise. So broad growth beyond the biggest economies, too.
Right. So it's not just the usual suspects driving things, a real mix of priorities across the continent. Okay. Moving east now to a real heavyweight region for semiconductors, Asia Pacific.
Powerhouse, yeah.
Market size in 2021 was about $811 million, expected to hit almost $1.12 billion by 2025, and then double again to nearly $2.1 billion by 2033. That's a very strong TGR of 8.21%.
Higher than North America or Europe overall.
So this region is already dominant in chip making. What's fueling this continued high growth?
Well, You have major players, obviously. China showing strong growth, around 7.8% CDR. India's up there too, about 8.3%. Taiwan, critical as ever, around 8%. But the real standouts in terms of growth rate are Japan and Singapore.
Oh, really? What are their numbers?
Both are projected around 8.6% CAGR. Japan at 8.596%. Singapore at 8.59%. That's significantly high for the region.
Wow. Immature tech economies like Japan and Singapore, why such acceleration?
It likely signals a deep commitment to the absolute cutting edge. Not just volume, but next-gen R&D,
Mhm.
advanced manufacturing techniques, maybe focusing on specialized chips for AI or high-performance computing, things that need the absolute best inspection tech. It shows they're determined to lead in innovation, not just production volume.
That makes sense. Pushing the technological frontier requires the most advanced tools. Very interesting dynamic there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift our focus south now to South America, often overlooked in tech, right?
Often, yeah, but the numbers here are worth looking at.
Okay, 2021 sales, over $284 million. Projected for 2025, over $392 million. And by 2033, looking at nearly $742 million. That's a CAGR of 8.278%, another really robust rate.
It is. Brazil's the biggest market in pure size, growing steadily around 8.2%. But check this out. Argentina and Peru have even higher projected CGRs. Argentina at 8.348% and Peru just slightly higher at 8.363%.
So the highest growth rates in that region are not in the biggest economy.
Exactly. It suggests a really burgeoning industrial base taking shape, maybe more localized production, integrating advanced tech into other industries. It points towards, a broader economic shift needing this kind of foundational quality control. An exciting emerging market for this tech for sure.
Definitely strong numbers from South America, especially Argentina and Peru, shows growing industrial capability there. Right, let's turn now to the Middle East. What's the story there?
Middle East is interesting. Diversification is the key word.
Okay, the numbers. 2021 saw over $287 million. It's projected to grow to over $383 million in 2025. And then by 2033, almost $700 million, $698.5 million. The CAGR is 7.794%. Solid again?
Yeah, solid. And within the region, Saudi Arabia is the biggest market currently, growing at about 7.6% CAGR. But the faster growth is coming from Turkey and the UAE.
Okay.
Both are showing KGRs just under 8%. Turkey at 7.994%, UAE right behind at 7.993%.
So similar to Mexico and North America, faster growth in slightly smaller markets within the region.
Kind of, yeah. It really points to that strategic push they're making. Investing heavily to build high-tech manufacturing capabilities, move beyond traditional economies, setting up tech hubs, attracting talent that drives demand for this kind of essential equipment as they build out their future tech sectors.
Makes sense. Turkey and the UAE clearly investing in that high-tech future. Okay, we've toured most of the globe. Now for the region, the report highlights as, well, perhaps the most dynamic. Prepare for some really standout numbers. Let's talk about Africa.
Right, this is where the growth rate really jumps.
Yeah, Africa. In 2021, the market was already substantial, over $917 million. By 2025, it's forecast to hit $1.33 billion. And by 2033, an incredible $2.64 billion.
Wow.
This translates to the highest regional CAGR anywhere in the world, 8.915%. Africa is leading the pack in growth rate.
It's truly remarkable.
Yeah.
And it's not just one country. Nigeria is a powerhouse within the region. Its projected CAGR is 8.981%. That's the highest figure for any single country mentioned in the entire report.
The highest single country globally.
Yep. Nigeria, hitting almost $873 million by 2033, up from $300 million in 2021. South Africa is also showing exceptional growth, around 8.85% CAGR. And even the rest of Africa category is projected at 8.9% CAGR. It's really broad-based dynamic growth.
Incredible. What does this signal? It's not just catch-up growth, is it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It signals the emergence of, real tech ecosystems, rapidly growing digital economies, and serious investment in local manufacturing and infrastructure. They're putting the foundational pieces in place for like a new wave of indigenous tech development. This demand for wafer inspection gear is a really early, crucial sign of that transformation.
Wow. Africa's expansion is definitely the headline story in terms of growth dynamics. Huge implications there for the future global tech landscape. Okay, let's try and bring this all together then. What we've seen is a really strong global growth picture for wafer inspection equipment. The market's set to more than double between 2021 and 2033. It's clearly a vital sector, kind of a canary in the coal mine for the whole semiconductor industry, right?
Absolutely. And the really big takeaway, I think, is how varied that growth is regionally. Yes, it's growing everywhere, but Africa leading with that almost 9% CAGR is stunning,
Right.
followed by South America and Asia Pacific, both over 8.2%. It shows these aren't just markets consuming tech anymore. They're increasingly involved in the production side, driven by specific strategies and investments. It makes you ask, why these specific regions? And what does it tell us about where high-tech manufacturing is heading globally?
So, connecting this back to you, our listener, what does it all mean? Well, it means that this microscopic world, inspecting silicon wafers for tiny flaws, it directly affects the phone in your pocket, the computer on your desk, the car you drive. The quality, the reliability, the innovation we expected all relies on the advancement of this market, happening often behind the scenes.
Yeah, and maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about the ripple effect. If the tools to inspect chips are growing this fast, especially in new regions, imagine the sheer volume and the increasing complexity of the chips themselves being produced worldwide. What kind of new technologies, what new capabilities are just around the corner, waiting to be powered by these tiny, perfect components? It hints at a pretty amazing technological future.
A great point. The quest for microscopic perfection fuels macroscopic change. We hope this deep dive has given you a clearer picture of one of the unseen but absolutely critical foundations of our digital world. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.